in the final hour, then we may be able to proceed to some new notes which we're gonna have to go through, and then so that when we continue next week, we'll be able to have our different approaches, and you have. So last time when we finished, we were taking this question, which is about describe what an apicomexan is, which is explain the true host life cycle of Plasmodium, which causes malaria. Remember, we talked about malaria, I think in a week after last week, and a week before last week, where we talked about how the host is affected and what is the causes of malaria. We even did also an exercise where we're checking the hypothesis, where they do a mini experiment to check whether the hypothesis could be caused by what would be causing malaria in that regard. Anybody, I know you're not gonna recite the whole thing, but anybody who can just like give a brief idea of what you think the life cycle or the causes, explain the life history of Plasmodium. This you're not only explaining the life cycle here, by the way, before I mislead you. Also the history of Plasmodium, which causes malaria, and also the life cycle of malaria. Anyone who can give the brief idea of what do you think it is? How is it caused by? The life history of Plasmodium and what causes malaria is that amplicozan, if you check here, are parasites of animals which cause serious human diseases. They spread via a host cell as tiny infectious cells called sporocytes. They are named ampicoplasm because of one end, which is apex of the sporocyte cell, and it contains organelles specialized for penetrating host cells and tissue. It retains a modified plasmid. They are not photosynthetic. They have complex lifestyle cycles with both asexual and sexual stages of reproduction, and it lives hidden from the host immune system. Then the host that infected Anopheles mosquitoes bite a person. This is just a series of events or the progression of how it happens. Injecting Plasmodium sporocyte in its saliva. The sporocytes enter the person's liver cell. After several days, it undergoes multiple division and it becomes merozoites, which use their apical complex to penetrate red blood cells. The merozoites divide asexually inside the red blood cell at interval of 48 to 72 hours, depending on the species. Talking about the 72, 48, 72 hours. Do you guys know anything about I was listening on the news about 70, they're saying we'll activate 72, is it 72 or 74-hour rescue plan? Anybody know anything about that on the news lately, the past 3 days? Do we have people from Western Cape here? No? LG students, they don't listen on the news. I was listening on there's a story of a building which collapsed, and sadly enough, there were workers which the building collapsed on them, and they were still stuck there, and the rescue plan team activated what is known as 72 or 74-hour plan, and that in order to rescue them. While we do not want to belittle the event or compare the event, but even this little fella here, in the period of 72, they can be able to infect you in that particular band where you can be caused for malaria. So large number of merozoites break out the blood, out of the blood cell, causing periodic chills and fever. They also do infect other red blood cells. Some merozoites form gametocytes, and another mosquito bites the infected person and picks up Plasmodium gametocytes along with the blood, and gametes form from the gametocytes. Fertilization occurs in the mosquito digestive tract, zygote forms, and the oocytes develop from the zygote in the walls of the mosquito's gut, and it releases thousands of sporophytes which migrate to mosquito salivary glands. And the graphic representation of it, there are various graphic representations which you can use, which you can able to go through, and which there are a lot. Even the one that we did on the notes, they are different from this one, but what needs to happen is just you just checking the cycle and the stages of how the previous slides, what we were talking in the previous slides, all these host and this attribute, this graphic diagram. And the malaria parasites of a life cycle involve two hosts. During blood cell meal, malaria infect the female anopheles mosquito, which inoculates the sporocytes into human hosts. The sporocytes infect liver cells and mature into cyanodes, which rupture and release merocytes of note, which is from the species P. vex and P. ovale and dominant stage, which can persist in the liver if untreated and causes relapse by invading the bloodstream, which is a period of weeks or even years. And after initial replication in the liver, the parasite undergo asexual multiplication in the erythrocytes and the merocytes, infect red blood cells. The rich stage strophites mature into cyanodes, which rupture releasing merocytes, and some parasites differentiate into several erythrocyte stages, but some parasites differentiate into sexual erythrocytes and gametocytes. And the gametocytes male, the gametocytes, the male one is called microgametocyte and the female is called macrogametocyte, and are ingested by another pest mosquito during a blood meal. The parasite multiplication in the mosquito is known as the sporangial cycle, which mosquito stomach the microgametes penetrate the microgametes, generating zygote. The zygote, therefore, in turn become motile elongated, which invade the midgut wall of the mosquito, where they develop into the sides, and they also grow, rupture, and release sporocytes, which make their way into the mosquito salivary glands, and the inoculation of the sporocytes into human host penetrates the life cycle of the malaria, and in that order. So go through all this. When you get hold of these slides, go through this and be able to master what is the life cycle of the malaria. Because although I keep saying this, that even though they're not going to request you to draw, even though they're not going to request you to maybe to say the life cycle or the host or the, but you know very well that they're going to choose a question inside, and one of the questions that you're going to be tackling will require you to know the depth of this cycle in and out without tatazilling, without being able to sleep back and be able to do the guess and have the scientific guess, but to have the absolutely sure of the answer that you can be able to come across. All right. Another one that you're not gonna like, another question that you're not gonna like. Write a brief report on ecological importance of fungi. Anyone?
I'd like to give it a try, sir.
Problem? Thank you.
The ecological importance of fungi, they include the following. First of all, the fungi is important to our ecosystems for biodegrading the decomposition of matter, and also it is also important because it is used for the manufacturing of antibiotics, and also not forgetting the mushrooms. That's all that I can say. So thank you.
All right. All right. So when you gonna tackle this question, it has to be through the habitat. What is the ecology into our habitat? They are diverse and widespread. They're found in any and every kind of aquatic and terrestrial habitat, and they're essential well-being for the most ecosystem. And the importance is that they break down organic materials. They are useful in cycling nutrients, allowing other organisms to absorb essential chemical elements. They are used as food in terms of mushrooms, application for agriculture, bread to antibiotics, the pine seedling, and with micro fungal association. When planted in soil, survive better in absorbing nutrients and proteins, protect seedling. Some do cause diseases in food and plants. They are also important as decomposers, where we did talk about the fact that they feed off the dead organic material like fallen logs, animal, parasitic, pathogenetic, so they absorb nutrients for cells of living host. Mutualistic fungi, they live off of cells, reciprocate with some benefits in that order. Explain the mechanism by which water rises in the plant to reach the leaves. Okay, back to the question. Explain the mechanism by which water rises in the plant to reach the leaves.
I would like to give it a try also if there's no one.
Sure.
So starting from the roots they are designed in a way that they do have some hydrophilic tissues that attract water, therefore absorbing water from the ground, and the water then moves into the xylem tissues, which are responsible for the taking the uptake of water from the ground to the leaves. And the water does have an aspect of due to the hydrogen bonds, the bonds between water molecules. It then the sunlight energy then helps the plant to pull out, because if the energy as the water evaporates from the leaves, it then pull out it's like a chain of water which is coming all the way from the roots to the leaves. So now as energy draws up the water molecules, the chain keep on moving from the roots up to the leaves.
Cool. Izanja, come on. Can he get the yes, yes, yes. Yes. Yeah, so you're almost close to the perfect. You know why I'm not necessarily commending you that you use what is written here on my notes, but even when you are using your own words, but I'm checking here to the guide to see if he didn't even mention anything according to what our notes are like, but there are points that in the key here to say if the student mentioned this, he should be taken them. You should give them the answer. You should give them the answer. And I'm glad that the way that you put it also, if the question comes in a form of multiple choice question, you'll be able to put it through. So the explanation here is that the adhesion and cohesion facilitate the transport of water bulk flow. Adhesion is the attractive, remember we did talk about adhesion last week, is the attractive force between water molecule and other polar substrates. Importantly, because both water and cellulose are polar molecules, there is a strong attraction between the water molecules and the cellulose molecule in the xylem walls. You mentioned something about the xylem. Cohesion is the attractive force between molecules of the same substances. So water has an unusually high cohesive force due to the hydrogen bonds each water molecule can potentially make with other water molecules, and it is estimated as well that water cohesive force within the xylem gives its tensile strength equivalent to that of steel wire similar to diameter. The cohesion, therefore, water makes it possible to pull column of xylem trap water dissolving mineral from the above with the water molecules separating. I think one of the last boring questions, distinguish between antigens and antibodies. So antigen will be an micromolecule that elicits an immune response by binding a receptor for B cells or T cells. Then antibody is a protein secreted by plasma membrane differentiated B cells that binds to a particular antigen, also called immunoglobulin. All antibody molecules have the same Y-shaped structure, and their monomer form consists of two identical heavy chains and two identical light chains. Okay, let's maybe on a lighter note, let's go for this one. Which of these is found in seed plants?
I think 1 and 2.
You think 1 and 2?
I think number 5. None of the. Never mind. I think number 1.
Okay. Anyone else? So let me get this. Somebody said 1, and somebody said number 2, and somebody said number 5. Did I hear correctly? Yes.
So I think it's number 4.
Retention of megasporophyte within the oval. We are close to having all the options here.
I would like to second with the lady who said number 1 and 2.
Because my answer here is none of the above. It's not root, stem, and leaves. It's not pollen and grains that are not flagellated. It's not retention of megasporophyte within the oval. The none of these are found in seeds, plants.
Hey, I'm a bit confused. I don't know. When we are talking of seed plants, are we not referring to plants that produces seeds, more like our corn, our rice, our cornflowers, sunflowers, and etc.
Because when we're going through the land plants, the plants that we the modification in terms of the modification, the plant dominant on earth, and you're right about the gymnosperms, angiosperms. Oh.
We can't hear you, sir.
Really? Maybe somebody needs to mute themselves. Yes, the student need to mute themselves. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I was still saying we will have to recheck it out, but we need to go through that. Those I can't find those slides now. I remember the notes that we were doing previous week, the sessions about the modification of plants, how land colonized first Earth, which one were the first, and which one they colonized land first, and in that progression, in terms of the phylogeny and in terms of that elevation. So maybe the explanation will be there, but I will check it out again in terms of why the condition or the characteristic, because there are characteristics which may be stipulated specifically from different kinds of plants, different plants. This, and you find that these one are not stipulated also on the seeds plants indefinitely with the characteristics of that. Remember, there's also those characteristics of, you find the characteristics of land plants in that regard. In terms of that, that's the other thing that is challenging with systematics and diversity, especially the diversity, either both of animal and plants diversity. When you do classification, there can be a room for ambiguity. There can be room for ambiguity because when you're classifying, when you're naming the binomial nomenclature, they have to be like closely a perfect classification of that particular individual or that particular plant in order for you guys to be able to classify and say, this is the characteristic of seed plants, this is the characteristic of aquatic plants, this is the characteristics of land plants, these are the characteristics of this particular plant. But I will check it out and also again come back to you guys. Is it doubting all of you, this answer?
Yes.
Okay, but it's checking out, unfortunately. So I will check it out. I will note it down, and then we'll come with the proper explanation. All right, can we move on?
Makes sense.
I think next week in different session, the next week that we're gonna come, we will go through even the previous questions that we have done, just to also indicate the ones that are not that obvious or the ones that are questionable, to eliminate that, give the explanation of why this answer is not correct or why this is not the correct answer in that regard. All right, the other boring question, which found itself inside here, difference between monocoty. Okay, somebody read the question for me.
The differences between monocotyledons versus dicotyledons.
Thank you. Do we have anybody who want to give it a try, or should I just go ahead and give it?
So I'm not going to give like a proper scientific difference or so, but what I know is that in terms of the leaves, the monocots, they have like the veins are like these straight, they just longitudinal. Then with dicots, they like they spread out, they branch out, the veins branch out in the leaves.
Then this one will be the monocot. The mono, by the way, sorry about that. Then the two cotyledons, leaf veins parallel, like you were saying, I assume. Leaf not veined, flower parts in 3, flower parts in 4 of 5s, fibrous root system, taproot system, pollen grain with 1 opening, pollen grain with 3 openings, and that regard, and many other more that you will find in your notes. Sure, I have a lot of boring questions here. Briefly discuss the phylogeny and tree of life. 15 marks. Just let's see somebody for some reason. They just throw it in and shoot it in. We have talked about this. You know what this is about. What will you say? 15 marks. Typing. You'll be writing.
Phylogeny and the tree of life. Tree of life. Could I say? Can I mention the three domains of what are they called? The three domains of what's the bacteria, archaea, and eukarya.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
They're called the domains of life.
Exactly that one. Yeah. What about them though? Yo,
What about that? I think there's a song which say, what about?
So,
Yes.
I would say phylogeny is the evolution. It's like the evolution of history and the relationships of a group of organism, often depicted like in a diagram, like a phylogenetic tree. Yes. Um, the tree illustrates like different types of species and their ancestors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all I have.
You're both correct. It's just a matter of just structuring the kind of story that you want to tell and the kind of flow that you're gonna give. And but what I'm gonna give you here is not like in a corresponding order or in a chronological order or whatever order. It's just part of information that you can shoot in and information that you need to recite and be aware of in case if any question could come in whatever form or the other, be it in one word, be it in compare and contrast, be it into multiple choice question, be it in true or false in that regard. So you have to start by giving like a preface of the fact that the person who's doing this is Carl, not Carl Linnaeus, Carlos Linnaeus formulated these two name classification known as binomial nomenclature. So if your examiner will be looking on the classification binomial nomenclature, and in any case, if you can even define what is binomial nomenclature. And although it was formulated in 18 BC, it's still the basic modern day classification to classify the diversity of life. Similar organisms are grouped together, like the previous lady was just saying, and each organism is given two names consisting of genus and species. That's where the lady was talking about the domains of life. Three domains of life comes through this, both Latin and Latin in origin, both must be underlined or written in italics. We're talking about something that we haven't, you don't know. First name is the genus, the name is written with the first letter, and the other one is written in small caps. Second name is called specific epithet, species written in small font. For example, the cat class Panthera leo is the classification of the name of lion. Something along the lines of this, and you can continue and flow and write your own story in that regard. So a question if it's like that, you can be able to give it a try in that regard. But I do trust you guys. Then we talked about this last week, advantages and disadvantages of algae or algae or algae, however you pronounce. We did even show the pictures last week. We show even the pictures. We did indicate also that ladies, you do use your algae in your. Okay, I'm giving out the answers. Anybody want to go for it?
One disadvantage is like some algae produce toxins that could be harmful to humans. A disadvantage could be that they are high in vitamins and protein, and which help humans when it comes to food
That
production.
that's an advantage. Yes.
Yeah, advantage.
All right.
Um, Another advantage of algae is that it is responsible for fixing 60% of carbon dioxide.
Cool. Another one. Should I put screen on?
It can improve water quality because it also removes certain pollution from water.
Can improve water quality. I like that one. In what way? Just go again. So I had that one before, but mostly it dwell mostly in the disadvantage that they sometimes cause they mostly there are people who classify them as that they are the inhibitor or the polluter of water quality because those but to some extent other studies have shown that actually the presence of algae is the one that also improves the quality of water in one way or the other. But in our own eyes, when we are looking, we feel like it's the water which is also indicated closer to the rocky of the algae sounds like or looks like it's polluted. And we even dwell far away if we have some of you who are like us who grew up in the rivers, who wash our clothes in the rivers, who go to the pool where or to the stream or to the floor where there's a higher velocity and it's away from where there is algae in that regards. But another explanation that you can put is that advantages and disadvantages rich in proteins, mineral nutrients that can be used for as fertilizers.
So you were asking I think someone said algae like scrubs like carbon dioxide, right? So that
Mhm.
could be adding CO2 to the water. So doesn't it clean the water
Yes. Also
in
in
that
that
way?
regard.
Yeah.
Yeah. In that further, it's also part of the further explanation because there is a construed conclusion that's which is an understanding of just a unfunded understanding that mostly the algae could also be part of the pollutants or it lowers down the quality of water. But in an actual fact, that you find that the presence of algae improves the water quality in that explanation,
Yes.
which some your statement. Also, again, one of you also mentioned that it's rich in proteins and minerals, which can be used for fertilizers for better crop, which is also one of the which could help for betterment of human beings. But the disadvantage of this is that sometimes it also closes the blocks the sunlight from reaching aquatic plants, resulting in their death. And also one disadvantage in that statement is that the extraction or the farming of those nutrients from those algae can be a very expensive exercise, which is also can be like economically constrained in terms of having to access those presence of those algae. Different kinds of algae is used in medication, cosmetics, livestock feed, and for pollution in that regard. And hair algae cause death of aquatic animals due to strangulation, and also aquatic animals benefit from algae as they provide for microorganisms on which fishes can feed. So there are others who are microorganisms which are or are part of which are supported by which are favored by which they utilize algae, but and there are also other plants which aquatic plants which are harmful or they are by algae as well. And the process of deriving biofuel from algae is very expensive and cannot be taken advantage of. They provide shade for the aquatic animals living in the ponds and also enrich water with oxygen, kills environmental beauty as the ponds covered in that. This is the question that I just put in and I just included because we haven't studied this. We haven't done this. We haven't done this, but I just included this. Any type of environmental factors, environmental adaptation may result in roots being modified for variety of function. Name at least different types of roots and their function. But for the benefits, can you just name them? Don't worry about the functions, just naming them.
Apical roots.
Sorry, what did you say?
Apical
Pical,
roots.
okay.
Parasitic roots.
Fibrous roots.
Mm-hmm.
Adventitious roots.
Mm-hmm. There are different ones. Area roots, prop roots, storage roots, phimophos roots, and pastoral roots. There are more, I believe, and in terms of explanation and their function, is that the aerial roots is that the function is that they are found in plants like epiphytes and mangroves. They help in obtaining moisture directly from the air, especially in environments with high humidity. Some aerial roots also provide additional support to the plant by clinging to surface, like trees or rock. And also the prop roots is that function the prop root, they grow above the ground, provide extra support to tall and heavy plants such as certain species of trees in tropical rainforest. They stabilize the plant and prevent it from falling over windy condition and or in loose soil. Then there is storage roots. I think this one explains itself. Plants like carrots, sweet potatoes have storage roots that store excess nutrients and water. These store resources serve as a reservoir during periods of drought or when plant needs extra nutrients to support growth and reproduction during this condition. And then the phenomatophores, the function is that they are specialized roots that grow vertically upward in the waterlogged soil, allowing plants like mangroves to access oxygen. These roots emerge above water or mud, facilitating the exchange of gases between the plant's internal tissues and the atmosphere, which enable the plants to survive in anaerobic conditions. Then the last one are parasitic plant structures that penetrate into the tissues of host plants and or to obtain water, nutrients, and even carbohydrates. This adaptation allows parasitic plants to thrive in nutrient-poor soil by obtaining necessary resources from the water nearby. And this modified roots showcase the incredible diversity of plant adaptation to different environmental challenges. So these are also done in a manner in which they are a characterization or the adaptation to different environmental challenges. That way, in which a structure or a plant will be able to obtain itself and be able to sustain itself in terms of those environmental conditions that they face in that regards.
Sorry, sir. I don't know, since these explanations seem like Okay, for me personally, they seem a bit too long, maybe for understanding. So if I could say maybe crop roots, and then their function is to support, let's say, heavy trees, tall trees, and then storage. I would say they store water and food, and pneuma, pneuma, what is it? Pneumatophores. We can say if structure to the trunk of, they enable the roots systems to obtain oxygen.
Yes, it so you're right, because that's what is it's advisable, not that to just go and recite or to use that terminology. What do they call it? Cramming. But you just also need to understand. The only thing that you need to understand is that if they're talking about the pneumatophores, is have to go with the condition that they are fighting against, is so that they could sustain the oxygen. They will be able to have the sustain of oxygen, because all of this function is to say how could they help adapt, how could they help the roots help to adapt the plants, but you are helping them to adapt with certain conditions. Some 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 plants will be in an arid area where they spend a lot of time without access to water, so the storage ones, like they would say, is helping with as like a reservoir, so that they could help with the withstanding of what, withstanding of the fact that you are able to store water and be able to sustain yourself in a condition where you spend a lot of time without the presence of water. And others, like the last one, where you are in a waterlogged area, where you have you need to withstand yourself with that kind of characterization or that adaptation. So you can use your own words, but just be careful not to write the same thing, because all of them, that's why they sound like this function is the conditions just to help you to withstand a different adaptation or environmental challenges. And environmental challenges differ from point A to point B, from point A to a different point. So other plants, they are they are challenged with erosion. Other plants, they are challenged with wind. Other plants, they are challenged with the fact that they are in a rocky area. Other challenges, they are competing with photosynthesis. They're in an area where it's a rainforest. In a rainforest, you have to grow, to compete for sunlight and all that. When you're competing for sunlight, then you have to have a modification in which your roots will be able to be sustained in that regard. So all of this, you are explaining one thing, and I like the fact that you are explaining that you don't necessarily need to have to recite all this explanation, but you just need to have an understanding of they are withstanding against what environmental conditions. I hope, is it clear?
Yes, it's clear, sir. But another thing now that pop up in my mind is okay. This is kind of a topic bit, but the the, the xerophytes, I don't know, those plants that grow in desert areas. Uh, I was just wondering maybe what type of modification would happen to them.
So xerophytes will be the wait, xerophytes are the ones that grow in 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 aquatic, isn't it? No, in desert.
Yeah, in desert, yes.
So there's the xerophyte one. The modification is that obviously even one of them also, they they are adapted to that. They are also, their roots will have the conditions and mechanism in which they are able to store water for a long time. And also they have the in their skin, they release some chemicals which can help them to withstand also the challenges drying out, and all those kind of things which can be able to cause them to dry out in those conditions and be able to be outcompete. And it's not only one condition, or it's not only one mechanisms that they have, is that you will find that most of them could be fact that were they endemic in that they were not endemic if they're exotic, which means that they have outcompete the other species or the endemic species, which in fact, in terms of nutrients, they have enough nutrients that they can be able to use and utilize. And you find that the element of competition has been eliminated in that regards. And then because the one other modification of roots, and there are also other type of roots in other plants, which is long roots. We're going to include that in the next sessions, where you find that this roots here, especially for a tree species, when you remove it, you find that actually the roots of this tree, it's like a canopy. It has covered the whole ground. We are here, we think the tree is here, but the root of the tree can even go as long as 15 meters apart in the radius of that area. I'm not sure if I'm yapping enough or making any sense. So like he's saying, here you just need to know that what are the prop fruits. I should have also included the different types of species which form part of the crop rows, form part of the, but here there is for storage they include carrots and sweet potatoes and aerial ones. What are the kind of environmental challenges that they are withstanding against, with the humidity and all that, and for those that are being withstanding on that. So some always you will find that they'll have the deep root system to access thick waters, and in that deep access, and they some have thick cuticles to help them to withstand against the harsh conditions and the desert. Which group possesses excretory structures known as Malpighian tubules? Anyone?
Which insects?
Just out of curiosity, right? A question like excretory structures as Malpighian tubules. So let's say you're using Google, or you're using what you call it, your AI tools to check the answer. How will you try to search to what's your first starting point when you are Googling for an answer like this? Not just to know the answer only, but also have an understanding of the question to the answer. The answer is inside, by the way, you are right. But in terms of searching for this answer, what do you think?
Isn't it vertebrate?
Sorry? Did anyone hear what you said? What did you say? Sorry?
No, it doesn't matter because the answer's already there now.
No. The answer is there, but I want to just say, my question still stands. When you're tackling a question like this, when you're Googling, right? Let's say you are researching for this. What's your starting point? I don't know if my question makes sense. So your starting point, because they're saying which group possesses excretory structure known as Malpighian tubules, all right? And your starting point would be to what is okay, at least for myself, I want to know what is Malpighian tubules. And if you go and check what Malpighian tubule is, for my is there are excretory organs which are found in insects. All they are excretory organs. Where are they found? They are found in insects. Therefore, you already got the answer. They are slender, tube-shaped organisms located at the junction of the midgut and hindgut of the insect. They also help remove the waste product from the insects, developing insects' blood, and they regulate water balance. This is the function of what these are. Flatworms, earthworms, cnidaria, and vertebrates do not have Malpighian shoe boots. That's how you go and look for that. Why? This helps to say if a similar question like this is asked, you already know what they're talking about. This also helps that even if they don't bring it exactly like this in an exam, you will be able to what they're talking about. This also helps. This is a joke, what I'm gonna say. This also helps to know that if they bring the same question, but insect is not on C, insect they remove its position to D. You're not gonna say, I know this question. The question when we're doing was C, but C was vertebrates. That way, you already are aware of what is it that they're talking about. That's a joke. I know nobody that come. Then the next one it says indicate yes, indicate whether the each description in column 1 here applies to A only, B only, or both A and B, or none in column 2. Write only A only, B only, B both A and B, or none.
So can I try? For
Yes.
1.1. So for
Okay, starting
1.1 vascular tissue, I'd say both A and B because they do form parts of the vascular tissues.
Congratulations, you're right. You wanna try 1.2?
1.2 is B.
It's B. We're going to have a rebuttal. We're going to have a rebuttal and a revision of this exercise in next week. 1.2, guys. There's B. Anybody? Let's support a B.
None. None.
I think it's A.
There is A. We have 3 options now.
I think it's both A and B.
Got both. Oh, we got different answers only here. There's gonna be coalition in this question. Question 1.2 is gonna be coalition. The gametophyte is the dominant generation. So when we do the rebuttal here, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna put the life cycle of both the fan, the Moses, and the fan. Those life cycles of bryophytes. Because the answer is A. Only A. The gametophyte is dominant generation in the moth, in the bryophytes. Did we talk about Gymnospermae and the radiophyta? Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Yes. I was starting to feel sad, but no, man. I'm asking questions that we didn't talk about. We did. The dependent on water for fertilization is it either Gymnospermae or the radiophyta? 1.3
B, tomato fighter.
B.
Yes,
He
B.
said he supported her. We have the third person.
It's B.
Well done, guys. B. 3 out of 2. 2 out of 3, rather. And oval is inside an ovary in either
B.
gymnast or angiosperm. D.
In B, angiosperm.
Okay. Anybody else?
I think both. In both.
Okay, so which means you're saying you in a way you're supporting her, yeah. Just say D and A, both and A. Anybody else? We have two different answers now. In 3, 2, 1. Yeah, the answer is she's right. By the way, it's B, the angiosperm. Then part of the sporophyte generation.
B.
That B. Anybody else?
Both A and B.
Both
B.
B. B, you said so.
Yes.
B.
Okay. Another B. We have 2 B's and 2 both, 1 both and 1 A. And we have the last person to just do a decider for us. In 3, 2, 1. Surprise, surprise. She was right. It's both A and B. Can I tell you a funny story? 2 funny stories. I will need you guys to say yes or no. Or we can just say, let's continue, Moroma, please. Can we just continue? We don't need a funny story. 2 funny stories.
Funny story. Funny story.
Right. Fun story number 1. You won't believe it. For those who do Blg1501, I hope you guys are standing because I've been standing since 8 a.m. Funny story number 2 is that this question is from a grade 11 question paper. So one way or the other is that me and you, we should have done this some way. Yes. Only this one from a grade 11. It was taken from a grade 11. When I was preparing,
funny story number 1? Funny story number 1.
I've been standing since Blg1501 session.
Oh.
Yeah. I hope you guys are standing as well.
I am.
Somebody is not tired. Yeah. So this one is I took it from grade 11. This question, only this question. I can hear somebody said, what's under my grade 11? What is this? But it's related to also the question that can appear. All right. The next one, which is not from grade 11, is choose the correct answer for each of the following. The gram stain is a procedure that microbiology. Choose the correct answer for each of the following. The gram stain is a procedure that the microbiologists use to, number 1, determine if the bacteria. Okay, what? You said 1? No problem. I thought I could just read it for all of them.
Yes, I was wrong.
I just want to go over the answer. Go over it. She said 1. We did talk about the gram stain. So when I be doing the answer is
3.
Then you mean 3, right? Yes.
So right. So I agree with gram stain procedure, right? you'd be testing to see if the bacteria is gram-positive or gram-negative. Then if it is gram-negative, it would be a pathogen, right? And I think it would appear as pink. So hence I said 1 to determine if a bacteria stain is a pathogen.
Okay. I think I got it now. Yeah, I got it. Do we agree with her? 2. Somebody said 3 and somebody said 1. Can we have the last person to just decide? Hopefully there will be either 1 or 3. I'm not saying if the answer is either 1 or 3. Just so
It's
that we
1.
can. It's 1.
I'm gonna go with 1.
You're gonna go with 1. It inferred the structure of a bacterial wall and bacterial responses to the antibiotics. She was right. Somebody mentioned that. The lady who said C. I'm assuming that she meant 3.
No, it was a man. Me.
It was yourself, sir. Sorry about that. Okay. A grain stain differential. I'm laughing that you claiming that I'm the one who gave the answer. Yeah, that's good. The grain stain is a differential. The lady was right with the definition. The differential staining technique. Why? Which is used to classify bacteria into 2 broad categories, which are gram positive and gram negative. Yes, you're right. But the classification is based on chemical and physical properties of their cell wall. So the gram-positive bacteria have a thick cell wall, which is made up of this is the characteristic that we did talk in those notes. It's also in your notes. The peptidoglycan, while gram-negative have a thinner cell wall with an outer membrane. And the difference in the cell wall structure affects how bacteria respond to antibiotics. For example, antibiotics that target the cell wall, such as penicillium, are only effective against gram-positive bacteria. So while gram-positive can definitely determine if bacteria, it cannot differentiate whether if or not bacteria is pathogen. Number 1, the fact that it determines whether bacteria is stain positive, it can provide just clues about the structure of the bacteria's cell wall. Then number 3, which can help doctors infer how the bacteria responds to responses into antibiotics. And grave stains are not used to determine bacteria. If a bacteria sample can break down the oil, for example, in choice 2, bind down the oil or count down the bacteria in the sample in choice 4. They are not. So the correct answer is that it inferred the structure of bacterial wall in the bacterial response to antibiotics. So for the benefit of time, can we go to number 2? Simple number 2. Which of the following features common in prokaryotic cells? Plasma membrane. Sorry?
You're not gonna read this time.
I'm not gonna
Read the question.
Which of the following features is common to prokaryotic cell? Either A, nucleus, nuclear envelope. None of the above, you think?
I think it's 5.
We have 5 and we have 3. Anyone else? If we have anyone else who want to give it a try?
I think it's 2, sir.
Okay, I understand. I made a mistake on the question. The question was supposed to be, which of the following feature is common to both prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells? So does that help?
Okay, in that case, I think I'd also go 2.
I'll go with 4.
I'll remain at 2.
No, we are going for a rebuttal next week. Which of the following features is common for prokaryotic cells?
I still stand by plasma membrane. It's the only membrane that is not common between the two is nuclear membrane.
Go through this. Can you guys see the diagram? My answer is the plasma membrane, prokaryotic lack true nucleus, mitochondria, and mitotic spindle.
Can you move on? So time.
For the ones which are here, not for the only one, not for general, but for the ones which are here. But do you guys understand this? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. So the real differences between this is just for you guys to go through, and I have the differences between plant and animal cells. Go through this structure. So here I've just indicated in red and in green there for this one here on the animal cell, which is one there. There's cytoplasm, cell wall, the ribosome, the vacuole, the Golgi apparatus, the rough endoplasmic reticulum, and the indication here with the stars is that one-star plants may have lytic vacuoles, which act like lysosome in animal cell, and the two stars is that although they are not labeled here, plant cell have microtubules and secretory vesicles too. And the three stars is that cell membranes and plasma membrane are just different names for the same structure. So I think there was another question, I think, was it last week or week before last week, where we did talk about the plasma membrane and cell membrane. You remember that question? It was a gentleman who asked him that it was a multiple choice question, and it says cell membrane, and he said plasma membrane, and there was a dispute in terms of that, where he was like, he's saying in the notes that he has, it says plasma membrane. You don't remember that? When you go through the videos or the recordings, check it out. There's a question which was indicative to say when they're talking about plasma membrane, it's also referring to cell membrane. Also, another similarities, if you just go for eukaryotic cell, the flagella, plasma membrane, cytoplasm, and ribosomes are the similarities in that regards. And see here, plasma membrane. That's what Enza was saying for this one, for the ones which are here. And I said the mistake here was that which is common for both prokaryotes and eukaryotic cells. And you see here the diameter, strength, and all that. We have done this before, so I'm sure that's where somebody is saying we should move on in that regard. Then, compared to eukaryotes, bacteria and archaea have surface to volume ratio, causing to nutrients exchange and growth rates. I'm sure that when the
Yeah. 4.
just say either 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5.
4.
4. Anyone else?
Two.
We have 2. We got 4 and 2. So the correct answer here will be 3. So the bacteria and archaea are much smaller than eukaryotic cells. Because of this small size, bacteria and archaea have much larger surface area to volume ratio. This larger surface area allows for faster nutrients exchange and waste removal, which contribute to their faster growth rates. And here's the reason why the other option are incorrect. The first one, it says higher and higher and higher, which is number 4, is incorrect because the eukaryotic cells have lower surface area to volume ratio area than lower and higher is incorrect for the same reason as the one above, for the option where it says the incorrect because of the eukaryotic cells as well. And lower also is the one that we just the option number 3, which is higher and lower. Am I correct? Am I saying the correct thing? Or is it option 3? Higher and lower.
Option 3 is lower and lower, sir.
Which means I made a mistake here. So the option is supposed to be 1. Did you say that? It's a higher and lower. So the archaea have higher surface volume ratio, causing lower nutrient exchange in that regard. Land plants no longer require water as a medium for reproduction within the evolution of is either number 1, fruits and roots, number 2, flower and leaves, 3, cells, wall and rhizoids, or 4, unified stems, or 5, seeds and pollen. Seeds contain an embryo that is surrounded by protective coat. This coat allows the embryo to survive for extended periods in dry conditions, and therefore this pollen is a male. No, not pollen. Pollen is a male gamete that can be carried by wind or animals to another plant. This eliminates the need for sperm to swim through to reach an egg. To leave the digestive tract, a substance must cross a cell membrane. During which stage of food processing does this take place? Is it number 1, digestion, or 2, elimination, 3, hydrolysis, 4, absorption, or 5, injection?
4. Absorption.
Absorption.
Right. The absorption is the process by which nutrients pass from the digestive tract to the bloodstream process. This process occurs across cell membranes in the walls of the small intestine. Then 14, non-vascular plants are the algae or blue-green algae, or 2, fungi and slime and water molds, or 3, hornworts, liverworts and mosses, or 4, gymnosperm, or 5, flowering plants.
3.
3. Do we agree
3.
with that?
Yes, sir.
Yes. You're right. So non-vascular plants like vascular system, which a network of tubes that transport the water and nutrients through the plant. This means that non-vascular plants cannot grow very tall and must live in moist environments in that regard. This we did. We have done this. Give the correct scientific names for each of the following statements below.
1.1 mixotroph.
1.2. I think we did this, guys. We did this, I think, for the first exercise. Or am I mixing up things? The innermost layer of the cortex in plant root cylinder on things form boundary between the cortex and the vascular cylinder will be endodermis. 1.3.
Biodegradation.
Yeah.
All I had was bio. Is it bio?
Bioremediation.
Like that. And the oval producing productive organ of a flower consisting of the stigma, style, And ovary, what would that be? It would be a pistil. And 1.5, a group of plants like protists that is most likely related to plants.
Chlorophyte.
Mm, unfortunately, no.
Cyanobacteria,
No.
plankton.
Sorry?
No, don't mind me.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Sorry. It's green algae or algae or yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Complete the following statement regarding the angiosperms. Write the correct words only. I didn't put the numbering. So angiosperm exhibit an alteration of
Generations.
yes. The diploid generation alternate with haploid
Gametophyte.
sporophyte.
Haploid.
No, you guys are right. I made a mistake on this one. What did I do? What did I do? Okay, saying haploid. You see what I did? No. Okay, let's go. This will be haploid. The is dominant in the generation, and the gametophyte depends on
Sporophyte.
sporophyte. Yes,
Fertilization.
you're almost there. The haploid I made. I'm gonna change that one. Do it now. Can we have one who can do for one last one? In 3, 2, 1. It's for nutrition. Shall I change this one now, or will you change it?
Please change it.
What did we say was again the answer?
Haploid.
Do we all agree, right? But we will, sorry, we will also change that with the corrections next week. Can we do one last one? Last one. Apart from food and beverage, plants provide human beings with
A.
all the answer seems okay or correct here.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because plants provide humans with multiple benefits beyond just food and beverages. They are a vital source of medicines, supplying us with pharmaceutical compounds for treating various ailments. Additionally, essential oil derived from plants used pharmaceutically as ingredients in cosmetics, perfumes. Plants also play a crucial role in oxygen production and photosynthesis. Furthermore, the plants can be used for biofuels, contributing to energy and all that. I think here we were supposed to add all of the above, but I went with B, but medicine, essential oil, oxygen for construction materials, paper, wool, cotton wool, yeah, all this. Do we have time for one more question? Which of the following is a characteristic of all angiosperms? All angiosperms.
I think it's A, sir.
Complete reliance of wind pollination. Sorry, it's B. Double internal fertilization in that regard. All right, any questions?